Have you ever felt that gut punch? Someone asks you something that sounds totally normal, maybe even sweet, but something inside you screams danger? Your stomach drops. Your mind races. And before you even finish answering, you realize you've already lost. Here's the truth nobody talks about. The best liars don't lie with their answers. They lie with their questions. And if you can't spot the trap, you'll spend the next hour, maybe the next week, doubting yourself, apologizing for things you never even did, and fighting battles that only exist in your head. Sound familiar? Look, the ancient Romans figured this out 2,000 years ago. Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius. These guys weren't just philosophers sitting around in togas. They were dealing with backstabbers, politicians, and master manipulators every single day. And they learned something crucial. Manipulators don't attack you directly. They're way smarter than that. They plant tiny seeds of doubt, then sit back and watch you destroy yourself. Fast forward to today, and guess what? Nothing's changed. The tactics are just more polished, more invisible. So here's what we're doing. I'm about to show you the 5 most dangerous questions liars use to control you. Not just what they are, but how they work, and more importantly, how the Stoics would shut them down without breaking a sweat. By the end of this, you'll never fall for these tricks again. You'll see them coming from a mile away, and you'll know exactly what to say to protect yourself. But here's the catch. The most dangerous question isn't even on the list yet. It's the one people fall for 90% of the time, and I'm saving it for the end. So if you click away now, you'll miss the exact moment someone tries this on you tomorrow. Sounds good? Then stick with me. And hey, if you're serious about never being someone's punching bag again, hit that subscribe button. Not for me, for you. Because the next video might be the one that saves you from your next nightmare conversation. Now, let's talk about question number 1. You know that moment when you say something's wrong and someone looks at you like you're crazy? They tilt their head, give you that little sympathetic smile, and ask, "Why are you being so sensitive?" Sounds caring, right? Like they're worried about you? Wrong. That question is a green 8 with a smile painted on it. And the second you try to explain yourself, boom, you've already lost. Because here's what they're actually saying. You're weak. You're imagining things. I'm fine. You're the problem. Think about it. Have you ever brought up something that bothered you, something real, and the person just laughed it off? Oh, come on, you're just too sensitive. Or maybe you questioned something shady at work and someone said, "Relax, don't overreact. It's just how things are done." That's not them caring. That's them disarming you. They're taking your greatest weapon, your ability to sense danger, and convincing you it's a flaw. They want you to ignore that little voice in your head that says, "Something's off here." Seneca nailed this 2,000 years ago. He said we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. And manipulators? They know that trick inside and out. They mess with your imagination until you're so twisted up, you forget what's real. You start apologizing. You start doubting yourself. You become the problem. But here's what nobody tells you. Sensitivity isn't weakness. Sensitivity is a superpower. The person who feels things deeply, they see the cracks before the building falls. Let me give you 2 examples. A financial analyst notices tiny weird numbers in the company reports. Everyone calls her paranoid. 6 months later, she uncovers a massive fraud that saves the company millions. Or how about this? A wife senses her husband acting just a little different. Nothing big, just off. Everyone tells her she's overthinking it. Turns out she was right all along. In both cases, being sensitive wasn't the problem. It was the alarm system. So what would a Stoic do in this situation? Marcus Aurelius said, "If someone can prove me wrong, I'll gladly change. I seek truth, not victory." Here's the thing. Someone who genuinely cares about you will never mock your awareness. Only people hiding something get nervous when you start noticing things. So next time someone hits you with, "Why are you being so sensitive?" don't defend yourself. Don't get emotional. Just look them dead in the eye and calmly say, "I'm not being sensitive. I'm being observant." Does that make you uncomfortable? Watch what happens. Watch the mask crack just a little. But listen, that's just question number 1. And honestly, it's not even the worst one. The next question is way more dangerous because it doesn't sound like an attack at all. It sounds like they're trying to help you. And that's exactly why it works. Stick with me because question 2 is coming up. And if you've ever felt confused after a conversation, like reality just got flipped upside down, this is the one you need to hear. Question 2. Ever had someone look you right in the eyes and ask, "You trust me, right?" Feels like a simple question, doesn't it? Like they just want reassurance. Maybe they're feeling insecure. Maybe they just need to hear it. Nope. That's bait. And if you bite, you're done. Because here's the thing. People who actually deserve your trust don't beg for it. They don't need to. Their actions do the talking. Day after day they show up. They're consistent. They're solid. Trust builds itself. But when someone looks at you and demands, "You trust me, right?" what they're really saying is this: stop thinking. Stop questioning. Just believe me because I said so. That's not a request. That's a command. Epictetus said it perfectly 2,000 years ago. It's impossible to learn what you think you already know. And liars? They love that. They use this question to slam the door on your curiosity. They want you to feel guilty for being cautious. They want you to think that asking questions makes you the bad guy. But let me tell you something. Caution isn't betrayal. Caution is survival. Picture this. You're in business with someone. Things feel a little off. The numbers don't quite add up. So you ask to see the books. And what do they say? "Come on, you trust me, right?" Red flag. Massive red flag. Or how about this? Your partner's suddenly glued to their phone. Screen tilted away. Texting at weird hours. You mention it, and they snap back. "What? You don't trust me?" They're not building trust. They're demanding blind faith. And blind faith? That's just a fancy word for ignore all the warning signs and hope for the best. Spoiler alert, it never ends well. So what would a Stoic do? They wouldn't panic. They wouldn't get defensive. They'd stay calm and detached. The Stoics called this apatheia, not letting your emotions hijack your brain. When someone throws that line at you, "You trust me, right?" Here's what you do. Take a breath. Look them in the eye. And calmly say, "Trust is earned through consistency. Are you asking me to ignore my judgment?" Boom. Game over. Because now the spotlight's on them. Not you. A liar will scramble. They'll change the subject. They'll get angry. But someone with nothing to hide, they won't be offended at all. They'll just keep showing you through their actions that they're trustworthy. Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. Trust isn't a gift you hand out because someone pressured you. Trust is a fortress. And you don't build a fortress in a day. You build it brick by brick with time, with proof, with consistency. And the Stoics knew this. Giving away that fortress too quickly means surrendering your peace, your safety, your sanity. But okay, listen. That question's sneaky. But it's still not the worst one. The next question coming up. It's brutal. Because it doesn't just trap you, it makes you feel like you're going insane. It twists reality, so hard you'll walk away questioning everything you know. The next question is where things get really dark. And if you've ever left a conversation feeling like you just got hit by a truck, but can't explain why, you need to hear this next one. Question 3. You ever notice something's off, so you bring it up, and suddenly you're the bad guy? You ask a simple question, a fair question, and out of nowhere they snap back. "Wait, are you accusing me of something?" And just like that, boom, you're on trial. This one's genius. Evil genius, but genius. Because in one sentence, they've completely flipped the script. You were looking for answers. Now you're scrambling to defend yourself. You're stuttering. No, that's not what I meant, I just... And they've won. The conversation's over. Their sketchy behavior? Forgotten. Now everyone's focused on you, and how terrible you are for even asking. Marcus Aurelius said, "The best answer to anger is silence." But Stoic silence isn't a weakness. It's not rolling over. It's refusing to play a rigged game. Think of it like a courtroom. If the person on trial can make the judge apologize, the whole thing falls apart. That's exactly what this question does. It puts you on trial for daring to notice something wrong. So how do you handle it? You stay calm. You don't take the bait. Next time someone hits you with, "Are you accusing me of something?" don't rush to fill the awkward silence. Don't stumble over your words trying to make them feel better. Just hold your ground. Look them in the eye. Wait 2, maybe 3 seconds. Then calmly say, "Should I be?" 3 words. That's it. And watch what happens. Because liars expect you to panic. They expect you to backpedal. They never, ever expect you to stay cool and throw the question right back at them. Let me give you some real examples. A boss gets asked about missing money from the budget. Immediately snaps. "Are you accusing me of stealing?" Or a partner who's been acting shady gets questioned. "What? Are you accusing me of cheating?" Same playbook. Turn your search for truth into an attack, so you have to defend yourself instead of getting answers. But here's the thing. A Stoic doesn't get baited. A Stoic knows that truth doesn't panic. Wisdom doesn't apologize for paying attention. And honestly, when someone asks, "Are you accusing me of something?" they're usually telling on themselves. Innocent people don't freak out when you ask honest questions. They just answer them. But okay, that's question 3. And yeah, it's nasty. But we're not done yet. The next question is even more twisted because it doesn't just make you the villain. It makes you feel crazy. Like reality itself is up for debate. And if you've ever walked away from a conversation wondering if you imagine the whole thing, this next one is for you. Question 4 is coming up, and trust me, this is where manipulation gets really scary. Ever had someone look at you with those big, hurt puppy dog eyes and ask, "Would I ever lie to you?" Man, that one hits differently, doesn't it? It sounds so sincere, so wounded, like you just stabbed them in the heart by even questioning them. But here's the thing. Ask yourself this. Why would someone even need to ask that question unless they already know you're onto them? "Would I ever lie to you?" isn't a question. It's a performance. It's a theater. And you're the audience they're trying to guilt into giving them a standing ovation. Because if they can make you feel bad for doubting them, you'll stop asking questions. You'll ignore that voice in your head screaming something's wrong. And boom, they've got exactly what they wanted. Your blind trust on a silver platter. But here's what the Stoics understood. Truth is never threatened by questions. Never. Seneca said, "If it's not true, don't say it. If it's not right, don't do it." Someone with integrity doesn't need to convince you they're honest. They just are. Day after day. No drama. No speeches. Their actions do all the talking. Think about it. The partner who's constantly hiding their phone but says, "Babe, would I ever lie to you?" Red flag the size of a football field. Or the coworker who messes up and won't own it but pleads, "Come on, would I really lie?" The more they beg you to believe them, the more you should be questioning what they're hiding. So what would a Stoic do? They wouldn't rush to reassure. They wouldn't fall for the guilt trip. They'd stay calm and clear-headed. Next time someone hits you with, "Would I ever lie to you?" don't answer right away. Let the silence sit there for a second. Make it a little uncomfortable. Then look at them and calmly say, "That's not the question. The question is, would I know if you did?" Game. Changed. Because liars love the fog. They want you confused, second-guessing yourself, drowning in doubt. But that response? That's a floodlight. And once you turn on that light, all those shadows they're hiding in disappear real fast. Here's the truth. Honest people aren't scared of questions. They welcome them. Only liars get defensive when you start paying attention. So don't ever confuse a performance of innocence with actual honesty. They're not the same thing. All right, for questions down. But we've got one more. And this last one. This is the nuclear option. This is the question manipulators save for when they're desperate, when they need to completely scramble your brain and make you question everything you thought you knew. If you've ever walked away from a conversation feeling like you're losing your mind, like reality just got rewritten right in front of you, this next question is the reason why. This is the big one, the one you absolutely cannot afford to miss. Question 5. The final boss. The last trick in the manipulator's playbook. Can't we just move on? Sounds reasonable, right? Sounds mature. Like they're trying to be the bigger person. Like they want peace. Wrong. This isn't about peace. This is about escape. What they're really saying is, I don't want to face what I did. I don't want accountability. I just need you to be too exhausted to keep digging. And here's the scary part. This is how most lies survive. Not because the liar's smarter than you, but because you get tired, you get worn down, and eventually you just give up. The Stoics saw right through this. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it's not right, don't do it. If it's not true, don't say it." Notice he never added, "Unless it's been a while and you're tired of talking about it." For the Stoics, truth doesn't have an expiration date. It doesn't magically disappear because someone's sick of discussing it. Think about this. A company gets caught doing something shady. The executives stand up and say, "All right, team, let's not dwell on the past. Let's focus on moving forward." Translation, please stop asking questions. Or how about this? A partner cheats, gets caught, and after a few tough conversations says, "Why do we keep talking about this? Can't we just move on?" They're not asking for healing. They're asking for silence. They want to bury the truth before it destroys them. So what does a Stoic do? They don't explode. They don't argue forever. They just stay grounded, steady, calm. When someone asks, "Can't we just move on?" you take a breath, look them in the eye, and say, "I'll move on when I understand what happened. Not before." That's it. One sentence. but it's a wall they can't climb over, because it tells them you can't be rushed. Your peace isn't built on exhaustion. It's built on clarity. And until you get that clarity, you're not going anywhere. Liars hate this. They depend on you getting tired. But when you refuse to fold, when you stand there calm and certain, their whole game collapses. Moving on isn't about speed. It's about honesty. And only when the truth comes out can real peace begin. Alright, so now you know all 5 questions. But here's the bigger picture. Why do these questions even work? What's the secret behind all of them? Liars thrive on emotion. They don't need facts. They don't need logic. They just need you off balance. They need you feeling guilty, or confused, or exhausted. That's their playing field. Not truth. Not reason. Emotion. And this is exactly where Stoicism becomes your shield. Epictetus said, "Some things are in our control, others are not." That's it. That one idea is the foundation of freedom. When you know what's yours to control and what isn't, nobody can manipulate you. So when they try to guilt you, remember, their feelings aren't your responsibility. When they call you too sensitive, remember, awareness is strength, not weakness. And when they try to wear you down, remember, truth has no deadline. The Stoic doesn't react at the liar's pace. They observe. They breathe. They respond with precision, like holding a steady sword in the middle of a storm. Imagine standing outside in a hurricane, wind screaming, rain hammering, thunder shaking the ground. But inside, you're perfectly still, unmoved. That's the Stoic mind. Calm when everyone else is losing it. Clear when everyone else is blind. Here's the secret manipulators never see coming. Their greatest weapon only works if you give them your reaction. Take that away, and the weapon shatters in their hands. The Stoic knows silence can be strength. Watching can be powerful. Detachment can be freedom. So next time someone tries to twist your mind, don't rush. Don't panic. Just ask yourself one question. Is this in my control or not? And with that single question, you take back your power. Calm, clear, unshakable. Alright, let's bring this home. You now know the 5 dangerous questions liars use. You've seen the traps. You know how they work. And more importantly, you know how to shut them down. You're not a victim anymore. You're a player. The Stoic doesn't need to shout. Doesn't need to fight. They just sit there, steady, eyes on the truth, and let the liar reveal themselves. Seneca, Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, they all knew the same thing. The person who sees clearly is dangerous. Not because they're violent, but because they can't be controlled. So remember this. You're not cruel for having standards. You're not harsh for wanting the truth. You're not weak for noticing when something's off. You're awake. And in a world full of people sleepwalking through lies, the awake ones are the most feared. Choose clarity. Choose reason. Walk like a Stoic. Calm. Observant. Unshakable. If this hits home for you, smash that like button. Subscribe so you never miss another lesson that could save you from your next nightmare conversation. And share this with someone who needs to hear it. You might just change their life. And hey, drop 3 words in the comments right now. I choose clarity. Let's build an army of people who refuse to be manipulated. Starting today. Starting with you.